Chag Sameach, Good Yantif. In a small vial above a rolled cloth of parchment on the entryway to our kitchen are the shards of glass from the broken cup at our wedding. Meredith and I sat for over an hour digging through the fragments at our kitchen table with tweezers and our glasses on, looking for the pieces that would fit and discarding those pieces that wouldn't. Each chip was carefully placed based on its color and its size, and now those pieces lie together, refracting light and illuminating the threshold of our doorway, our mezuzah, our protection, our way of remembering. It seems so counterintuitive that brokenness should call our attention to joy. After all, the idea of destruction is that what was whole is no longer intact. And even more problematic, we are painfully aware that sometimes what is broken can never be fixed, can never be repaired. When we lose a loved one, we are broken. When we see the unspeakable pain that fills our hearts when we grieve, we are broken. And when we sit by in silence and despair, unsure of what to do or how to be, we are broken. So as you've probably gathered so far, this isn't necessarily going to be a feel-good Dvar Torah. It's not going to be able to provide any kind of rationale or reassuring knowledge of how God works or why suffering exists. But what I want to speak on this morning is that paradox that exists on this incredible day, this day of Shavuot, because I think it's important for us to consider. Here we are, together as family, opening our hearts to prayer, to community, and to the celebration of Shavuot. And yet, here we are in this moment preparing for Yizkor, and we are reminded that we are broken, that we have lost, that part of us is missing. In the capsule of this Chag's joy rest the shards of glass that we carry with us each and every day. Shards that dance to different tempos, and shards that throw light in thousands of directions depending on the brightness of the sun and its location in the sky that is our lives. Sometimes that light is subtle, even gentle. And sometimes that light is blinding. And it is the only thing that we see, no matter where we look. Today's holiday is a note to the latter. It is the holiday we are invited up the mountain with Moshe Rabbeinu, where we renew our vows to God and dive into the sea of Torah. But it is also a holiday that begs for us to remember what we have lost, to walk into the blinding radiance of what true Torah is, and then to come down the mountain forever changed. Because the Torah we accept today is not simply 5 books of Hebrew text. It is a history of who we are, what we've experienced, and how that experience, both individual and shared, makes us us. The Torah that we accept today is not the vial of joy. It is the myriad shards that make up a difficult truth that even God's creation in all of its splendor and wonder aches with the pains of incompletion. When we receive the Torah, we are not told to embrace it and love it because it is perfect. If that were so, it wouldn't need to be given to us at all. And remember, the tablets that we receive on this holy day are the second pair of tablets that we receive. As the first were brought down from Moshe, from Sinai, to the Egel HaZahav, to the witnessing of this golden calf. And in his anger and in his fury, Moshe shatters the original tablets, throwing them to the ground. When we receive this Torah, there is an implicit understanding that there are clear spaces of white in between and surrounding the black ink that makes up our holy text. The ink is God's Torah. The parchment, the remnant, the shards, He left for us to help fill in. What we do with that parchment, that is our call to Torah. We can let it be allowing the ink to exist without our help, content with what was and what is. Like Moshe originally did, we can tear it up. We can shatter it, angry that it was given to us in the first place because we didn't ask for it. Or we can fill it with the colors of a life worth living, hues of goodness and compassion, accenting the thick brushstrokes of gratitude and appreciation for the love we experienced, for the people who taught us, who challenged us, who encouraged us to fill our parchment in the first place. This is our paradox: to make our lives living Torah while simultaneously understanding that that life has in it deep and immeasurable pain, unanswered questions, and moments of fear and despair. Here is the vial. Here are the shards. There is a story of an old man who is asked to perform the ritual of Hagbah, of the lifting of the Torah. He is deeply moved by the great honor, especially since in his old age, he is no longer the strong, confident participant he once was. Knowing how important this ritual is, he focuses intently. He braces his knees, levels the scroll, steadies his hands as he lifts with all of his strength. But as he is turning, he trips over his feet. And he gasps in horror as he staggers towards the floor, knowing that he has no chance of catching the scroll as it tumbles to the ground. But as he braces himself for the impact, he feels his body caught, comforted, held by something beneath him. The rabbi has caught him at the last moment, and he collapses into his arms as the parchment and the wood bounce off the carpet and unroll down the stairs. With tears in his eye, he looks at the rabbi and he says, "Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi, but you should have caught the Torah." The rabbi smiles, and as he lifts him to his feet, he says, "That's exactly what I did." Today is a vial of joy, filled with the shards of what is left to be. It is a day of praise and celebration, and it is also a day of remembrance, of incompletion, of the unknown. Today is the day we catch one another before we can fall, when we embrace each other and hold on tight to the Torah that is and was, scrolls of love and memory that were mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, grandparents, children, spouses, and friends, and scrolls that are us, here and now. A Torah filled with broken shards, a Torah of white parchment ready to tell a story. Here is our ink. Here are our oils. May we continue to color our parchment, and may our colors be brilliant, be true, and blinding. Amen.